Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. Today we are in Age of Wonders 4 and we are targeting an achievement with this faction build. Now this faction build is going to concentrate more towards nature, and the achievement that we're going to unlock with this build, if you complete your game of course, is the Grey Wizard. Now within this one you have to lead a faction of halflings to victory as a human wizard king, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing here. And of course, if this Age of Wonders 4 content is what you want to see, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as we have tons more content coming very soon. Now first up, let's talk about our body traits. Now of course we have gone for the halfling form, but with this game everything else is customizationable. I have chosen the unicorn mount for our body trait here, but of course there are loads of other options. I figured unicorns would work really good, especially as we're supposedly in the Shire. And of course, with the unicorn mounts, we do get 10 extra hit points, and we get that all-important phase ability. And during combat, that phase ability is so bloody strong. I would say it's so strong that it actually makes the unicorn mount possibly the strongest out of all 4 different mounts that you can pick, maybe only second to the wolf mounts. Up next we have the mind trait, and for this one we've actually chosen adaptable. Now adaptable is a great choice for almost any build you do. This gives us a flat 30% extra experience for our troops, meaning that they can level up and hopefully get to legendary status. Now there's definitely other decent options here, but this is the one we're going to pick for this build. One thing I would say is feel free to experiment with any and all builds you play in Age of Wonders 4. Part of the best thing about this game is that experimentation is fun and absolute key. When it comes to your culture choices, I went with feudal. I thought it worked out rather good. We get a little bit of order, and I'll tell you why we want a little bit of order a little bit later, but we also get that all-important nature perk right at the beginning. With this, our structures will naturally get more food, or at least we get more structures within our game that give us a little bit more food, which means we're going to have a higher population as well. Our units actually benefit from close formation with stand together. Unit deals 20% extra damage when adjacent to a friendly troop. And we also have feudal lords as well. This is really good because if you pick up any of these things on your heroes, multiple heroes, they will give you different perks for your game. For instance, you have got Lord of War, which gives you extra hit points and movement points. You also have extra food incomes, knowledge, magic, and production as well. So you really can't go wrong with the whole feudal. Within the society traits, we've actually chosen Fabled Hunters. Now, with Fabled Hunters, we gain 100% resources for clearing infestations, ancient wonders, and resource nodes. We also have our range units and skirmishers start off with an extra rank. Now, of course, that's going to go hand in hand with our extra 30% experience that we're gaining as well. And we start with an extra ranged unit, meaning we can get into combat with that added support right off the bat. And now we've actually paired that with Silver Tongued. Now I thought this is rather fitting. Supposedly we have a wizard leading us, and I think Gandalf can be very persuasive when he wants to be. Now Silver Tongued is within the Pantheon tree, so this isn't something you're going to have to unlock in order to use. So if you don't have that, there are plenty of other decent choices as well. But with Silver Tongued, our pronouncements cost minus 30% less, and trade deals with free cities cost 100% less resources, meaning you can just straight up get extra knowledge or gold from whichever free cities you happen to have vassalized at the time. You also start with an extra scout unit as well. But like I said, if you don't have Silver Tongue currently unlocked within your Pantheon, that's absolutely fine. There's plenty of other decent choices. Great Builders being another one. Or of course, you could go down the nature route again and go for Adapt Settlers, because I think this is a brilliant one to go for regardless of what you're doing. Next up, we have the tomes for us to pick, and we're gonna go nature here. This will give us those extra points, extra affinity points towards nature, so we're gonna get a really nice boost straight off the bat. For nature, we have two options. We have Tome of Roots or Tome of Beasts, and you know what? I think I prefer Tome of Beasts. There's some really easy, quick things we can get at the beginning, like for instance, Wild Speaker, which gives us the ability to conjure an animal within battle, giving us that extra numbers off the bat. And we also have the ability for a wildlife sanctuary as well, which is a great extra special province improvement where we get extra food and we get extra draft through this as well. It also counts as a forester, and I seem to find that adding a forester is just a little bit of a waste of time. But as this special building counts as that, it does also help us unlock those buildings that we can build within our city. Next up, we have the choice between a champion or a wizard king, and I've already told you we're going to choose a wizard king here. This works really well for us because we're going to be getting that extra 10% mana income, and we also get those 5 added points for world casting, in other words, magic that we can use on the world map. And don't forget, in picking a Wizard King, this means that our leader, our hero, gets to be a different race than what he is leading. You don't get that choice as a champion, and so we're able to be a human wizard by picking a Wizard King. Now, I've already been in this and made a character. I honestly have a hard time picking my human from my elf, though. They look very similar, so I have a hard time finding that character model. But hey, this is my Gandalf. Please don't shoot me that he doesn't look exactly how he should look. This is the closest that I could get him. I haven't actually unlocked the wizard hat myself within the Pantheon. I kind of went a different route. So if you have, then yours probably looks a little bit better than mine. But I have Gandalf the Evolved. And our race name is the Fellowship. Anyway, if you build this build and finish your game, you will unlock that secret achievement. Now that's all that's left is to dive into the Affinity, show you a few of the perks that I think you could look at picking up along your way. With a very special perk I think you could actually take advantage of as well. Now, the first thing I should do is suggest picking up Astral. Now, I picked up Astral within my play. It gives us a lot of mana, just like Shadow, but I didn't want to go up the Shadow route or didn't want to invest any more points within Shadow. Astral does a great job of giving us what we lack just going pure nature. Like for instance, the very first perk we get here, it actually gives us an extra 20 points towards our casting combat. And the second perk is a little bit tricky to actually make sure it's worthwhile picking up. But however, whenever you finish a research skill, a knowledge cost of another random skill is reduced by 25%, meaning you're able to get those next research a little bit quicker. However, sometimes it does it to researches that you're not going to want to research. So make sure you're just not picking it because it's the quickest option. But it does go hand in hand with quickness, which is another really good one because this makes sure that you can use your spells from turn 1 in combat. Then you have Rite of Astral Abundance, which will instantly give you 1000 mana, and late game that can become really, really handy, especially if you are summoning a lot of your troops, much like I did. And ingredient experimentation can come in clutch, especially endgame, just to give you that boost in knowledge. Your throne city gains 15 knowledge for each magic material your empire has access to. That can be massive depending on how your game has developed. 5 to 6 points within the affinity tree should be enough to achieve you everything you need to within your playthrough with that. Now, earlier in the build, I did mention order. We have gone 1 point in order, and you can probably see why now, because pacification means destroying infestations or conquering a free city grants you extra relations with other 3 cities, meaning you're going to be able to get more vassals. Then you have got diplomatic channels, which gives you an extra whispering stone. Again, you're able to talk to more free cities that way. Your vassals also grant you an extra 10 in gold. Now, you never even need to put another point within order to achieve those 3 things within your playthrough. It should make it a little bit easier and a little bit more worthwhile to seek out those vassals. Now, within nature, there's some pretty good options. Most of these are all about increasing your population. Their second perk makes your farms better off. The third perk enables you to regenerate an additional 15 health points within your own territory, which can be really massive to keep your troops in the fight. Expansive reach means you can get those bigger cities, but perhaps the best perk you can pick up is Wild Expansion. Completing a province, in other words, growing your city, will grant an additional animal unit to be summoned to that province wherever it is. This can be really good. This is tier 1 to tier 3 troops. It can be rinsed and repeated and kind of exploited within your game as well. But I'll explain what I mean with that a little bit later. Natural order is a good one to pick up too, because it means that your cities are gonna be more stable. So that way you're not losing points because there's unrest in your towns. Honestly, this can be a really good one because those percentages that you start getting debuffed or buffed can make a massive impact within your empire. But the perk that I like to shoot for is Rangers. Now, this is a slow one to get. It takes a long time within your game and a good amount of investment for you as well. But with Rangers, the movement cost of friendly units in your domain is reduced by 2, meaning that you can move armies massively across your map, almost at will. So for instance, if you are being attacked, but your main armies are halfway across the map, well, if all of your land is connected, then you're going to be able to move that army absolute miles. Now, just a few moments ago, I mentioned a perk called Wild Expansion. Now, this is my playthrough playing with exactly the setup and faction setup that I have just been talking to you about. And I have this perk. Now, the way it works is if I transfer ownership of any province, it doesn't matter what it is, to another city, and this can be rinsed and repeated every single turn, then when I do actually continue my turn and a new turn, an animal unit will pop up that's fully under my control. It will be tier 1 to 3 depending on what you annex, of course, and also it's as my city grows. So if I vest in nature very, very early, found a brand new city, as that city grows and pops up, I will get an animal unit for every single new territory that I get. It's incredibly broken perk. It probably needs to be changed or at least fixed, or at least so you can't interchange provinces and just exploit it, because being able to summon troops off the bat, especially tier 3 troops, so easily is just insanely broken. But as you can see, I transferred ownership of these provinces and I have a level 3 spider right here. Now, it's not a bad troop, certainly for a free troop and certainly for one that I didn't have to wait any time for. And I also have a level 3 unicorn shock troop as well. Like I said, this is an insanely broken perk. I think you should use it because it's just so bloody handy, and it's one of the small upgrades, or one of the best perks that you can actually get within the nature affinity. But there you have it, guys. That is my fellowship build. That is how you get yourself a nice little secret achievement within the game as well. Little shout out to my Discord. I had a guy in there chatting to me about this achievement. I didn't realize what it was. I'm really glad he showed it to me because it's been a fun playthrough. Glad I got it. It's a really fun build. Also, with this build, with this playthrough playing as nature, you do get access to this absolute beast of a mythical unit as well. It is called a Horned God and has 150 health pool. It has a load of skills. It's an absolute beast within combat and will make your game a whole lot easier once you are able to summon them. They are extremely expensive, however, both costing Imperium gold and mana to keep up and running, but they're a lot of fun to have in your game and just another reason to try out this build. But if you do end up trying it out or maybe change something along the way, let us know down in the comments. We're very interested to know what you like about this build, what you want to change about this build, and just how your game is going. But until next time, I've been a monk who's been a Critically Clueless, and I will see you in the next video real soon. Until then, take it easy and happy gaming.